posts to let people know this is happening. Give me just a second. Everyone is ready for holidays and that things are going well for you. It doesn't seem like it was a year for going well, but we do as we can, can't we? I will be with you in a moment.
Welcome to Ravens. Let's go to the library. She's been expecting you.
A lovely 22nd of December for you, Mings. It is getting down to the wire for the holidays, for Christmas. Yule is past. Means the days will be getting longer and the nights shorter. Good for most, bad for vampires. But, that please everybody. All right. Today I'm reading a story by L. Frank Baum, a Christmas story. I haven't read it through, but I'm trusting it would. He has a certain fantasy that's very 19th century American. Anyway, we'll give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes. 1 week from today, I have to announce the tragic and long-awaited finale to How to Survive Camping. And I've been working on that, so I'm a bit emotional. But we'll move on. Be a bit more lighthearted. I'll check real quick if we have. Oh, yay! Karen's here. Now the party can start. Can we have a party with Karen, or the Queen of Darkness, as she is known? Wonderful. All right, and some lurkers. Hello to everybody out, and we will get started. A Kidnapped Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. Santa Claus lives in the Laughing Valley, where stands the big, rambling castle in which his toys are manufactured. His workmen, selected from the Riles, Nooks, Pixies, and Fairies, live with him, and everyone's as busy as can be from one year end to another. It is called Laughing Valley because everything is happy and gay. That's good. They're inclusive. The brook chuckles to itself as it leaps, rollicking between its green banks. The wind whistles early in the trees. The beams dance over the soft grass, and the violet wildflowers look smilingly up green nests. To laugh, to be happy, one needs to be content. Throughout the Laughing Valley of Santa Claus, Contentment reigns supreme. On one side is the mighty forest of Birdie. On the other side stands a huge mountain that contains the caves of the demons. And between them, the valley, silent and peaceful. It'd be nice if there was one peaceful place in this world. Okay. I'm going to side my cynicism. One would think that our good old Santa Claus, who devotes his days to making children happy, would have no enemies on all the earth. And as a matter of fact, for a long period of time, he encountered nothing but love wherever he might go. Horse tales, welcome, welcome. But the demons who live in the mountain caves grew to hate Sid very much, and all for the simple reason that he made children happy. The caves of the demons are 5 in number. The pathway leads up to the first cave, which is finally at the foot of the mountain. The entrance beautifully carved and decorated. In it reads the demon of selfishness. Back of this is inhabited by the demon of envy. The cave of the demon of hatred is next in order, and this one past the home of the demon of malice, situated in a dark and fearful cave, very heart of the mountain. I do not know what lies. Some say there are terrible pitfalls leading to destruction. This may very well be true. However, from each one of the 4 caves mentioned, there is a small, narrow tunnel leading to the cave. A cozy room occupied by the demon of repentance. And as the rock floors of these passages are well worn by the passing feet, I judge many wanderers in the caves of the demons have escaped through the tunnels to the abode of the demon of repentance, who is said to be a pleasant fellow who gladly opens a little door, admitting you into fresh air and sunshine again. Well, these demons of the cave, thinking that they had great cause to dislike old Santa Claus, held a meeting one day to discuss the matter. "I'm really getting lonesome," said the demon of selfishness, "for Santa Claus distributes so many gifts to all the children that they become happy and generous. His example and keep away from my cave." "Having the same trouble," rejoined the demon of envy. "The little ones seem quite content with Santa Claus, and there are a few indeed that I can coax to become envious." "And that makes it bad for me," declared the demon of hatred. "For if children pass through the caves of self-pity, one can get to my cave." "Or to mine," added the demon of malice. "For my part," said the demon of repentance, "it is easily seen that if children do not visit caves, they have no need to visit mine, so that I am quite as neglected as are. And all because of this pearl Santa Claus," explained the demon of envy, "ruining our business. Something must be done at once." To this they readily agreed, but what to do was another and more difficult matter to settle. They knew that Santa Claus worked all through the year at his castle in the Laughing Valley, preparing the gifts he was to distribute on Christmas Eve, and at first resolved to try to tempt him into their cave, that they would lead him on the terrible pitfalls that end in destruction. So the very next day, while Santa Claus was busily at work, surrounded by a little band of the demon of selfishness, came to him and said, "These toys are wonderful and bright. Why don't you keep them for yourself? Those noisy boys and fretful girls who break and destroy them quickly. Nonsense, cried the old graybeard, bright eyes merrily as he turned towards the tempting Damon. The boys are never so noisy and fretful after receiving my presents. If I can make them happy for one day in the year, I am quite content. So the Damon went back to the others, who awaited him in the caves, and said, I have failed, for Santa Claus is not at all selfish. The following day, the envy visited Santa Claus. He said, the toy shops are full of playthings quite as pretty as those you are making. It's a shame that they should interfere with your business. They make toys by much quicker than you can make them by hand, and they sell for money while you get nothing at all for your work. But Santa Claus refused to be envious of the shops. Hi, Charlotte. So nice to see you. I'm so glad Rocky's doing well. Oh, that's wonderful. It would be horrible if you lost him. Hey, PA, it's good to Happy solstice, Merry Christmas, and if you celebrated Hanukkah, I'm a little late, but I hope you enjoyed it as well. Okay, I can supply the little ones but once a year on Christmas Eve, Santa answered. For the children are many, and I am but one, and as my work is one of love and kindness, I would be ashamed to receive money for my little gifts. But throughout all year, the children must be amused in some way. So the toy shops are able to bring much happiness to my little friends. I like toy shops, and I'm glad to see them prosper. In spite of the second, the demon of hatred, he would try to influence Santa Claus. So then he entered the Big C workshop and said, Morning, Santa. I have bad news for you. And run away like a good fellow, answered Santa Claus. Bad news is something that should be kept secret and never told. You cannot escape this, however, declared the demon. For in the world are many, who would not believe in Santa Claus. And these you are bound to hate bitterly, since they have so wronged you. Stop rubbish, cried Santa. And there are others who resent your making children happy, and who sneer at you and call you a foolish old rattle-pate. You are quite right to hate such base slanderers, and you ought to be revenged upon them for their evil words. He doesn't have many lines that hurt. Don't hate them, exclaimed Santa Claus positively. Such people do me no real harm, but merely render themselves children unhappy. Poor things. I'd much rather help them any day than to injure them. Indeed, the Damons could not tempt old Santa Claus any way. On the contrary, he was shrewd enough to see that their object in visiting him was to make mischief and trouble, and his cheery letter disconcerted the evil ones, and showed to them the folly of such an undertaking. So they abandoned honey words and determined to use force. It was well known that no harm can come to Santa Claus while he is in the Laughing Valley, for the fairies and the Russells and the Knooks all protected him. But on Christmas Eve, he drives his reindeer out into the big world, carrying a sleigh load of toys and pretty gifts to the children. This was the time and the occasion when his had the best chance to injure him. So the Damons lay their plans and awaited the arrival of Christmas Eve. The moon shone big and white in the sky, and the snow lay crisp and sparkling on the ground as Santa Claus cracked his whip and sped away out of the valley into the great world beyond. The roomy sleigh was packed full with huge sacks of toys, and as the reindeer dashed onwards, our jolly old Santa laughed and whistled and sang for very joy. For in all his merry life, this was the one day in the year when he was happiest. The day his lovingly owed treasures of his workshop on the little children. It would be a busy night, he knew well. As he whistled about it and cracked his whip again, he reviewed in his mind all the towns and cities and farmhouses where he expected, and the figure just enough presents to go around and make every child happy. They knew exactly what was expected of them, and dashed along that their feet scarcely seemed to touch the covered ground. Suddenly, a strange thing happened. A rope caught through the moonlight, and a big noose that was in the end of it settled on the body of Santa Claus and drew tight. Before he could resist, or he was jerked from the seat of the sleigh and rolled head foremost into a snowbank, while the reindeer rushed on with the load of toys and carried it out of sight and sound. Such a surprising experience confused old Santa for a moment, and when he had collected his senses, wicked demons had pulled him from the snowdrift and bound him tight with many coils of the stout rope. They carried the Santa Claus to their mountain, where they thrust the prisoner into a secret cave and chained him to the wall so that he could not escape. Laughed the demons, rubbing their hands together with cruel glee. What will the children do now? How will they cry and scold and storm when they find there are no toys in their stockings? Christmas tree. And what a punishment they will receive from their parents, and how they walk to our selfishness and envy, hatred and malice. We have a mighty clever thing, we demons of the cave. All right. Y'all doing good? Meet Dog Black. Hello. Is it breaking up? My internet is been very bad the last couple of days. They've got problems, which is horrible because my work and he's getting some flack. So we're going to have to probably leave the little company that's growing and go to the big. So if the stream dies, I am so sorry. Yeah. What can you do? No, it's so chance that on this Christmas Eve, the good Santa Claus had taken with him his later, the Ryle, Peter the Duck, Kill the Pixie, and a small fairy named Frisk. His 4 favorite assistants he often found very useful in helping him distribute gifts to children. And when their master was so suddenly dragged from the sleigh, they were all safely tucked underneath the seat, where the sharp wind could not reach them. The tiny mortals knew nothing of the capture of Santa Claus until some time after he had disappeared. But finally they missed his cheery voice, and as their master always sang or whistled on his journeys, the silence warned them that something. Little Whisk stuck out his head from underneath the seat and found Santa Claus gone, and no one to direct the flight of the reindeer. Whoa! He called out. A deer obediently slackened speed to come to a halt. Peter and Nutter and Kilter all jumped upon their feet and looked back over the track made by the city. But Santa had been left miles behind. What shall we do? Asked Whisk anxiously. All the mirth and mischief banished from his wee face by this great calamity. We must go back at once and find our master, said Nutter Lyle, who thought and spoke with much inspiration. No, 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 exclaimed Peter the Knock, whose cross and crab though he was, must always be depended upon in an emergency. Delay or go back, there will be no time to get toys. The children are mourning. That would grieve Santa Claus more than anything else. It's certain that some wicked creatures have captured him, Kilter thought, and their object must be to make the children. So our first job is to get the toys distributed carefully, as if Santa Claus were himself present. Afterwards, we can search for our master and easily secure his freedom. This seemed like such a good and sensible advice that the others at once resolved to adopt it. So Peter the Knock called, and the faithful animals again sprang forward and dashed over hill and valley, through forest and plain, until they came to the house wherein children were sleeping and dreaming of the pretties that they would find on Christmas morning. The immortals had set themselves a difficult task, for although they had assisted Santa Claus on many of his journeys, the master had always directed and guided them and told them exactly what he wished them to do. But now they had to distribute the toys according to their own judgment. They did not understand children as well as old Santa, so no wonder they made some laughable errors. Mamie Brown, who wanted a doll, got a drum instead, and a drum is of no use to a girl who loves dolls. Okay, the last 3 words. Save that. And Charlie Smith, who delights to play out of doors, and who wanted some rubber boots to his feet by, received a sewing box filled with colored worsted and needles, which made him so provoked that he thoughtlessly called our dear Santa Claus a fraud. Had many mistakes, humans would have accomplished their purpose and made the children unhappy. But the little friends of the Santa Claus labored faithfully and gently to carry out their master's ideas, and made fewer errors than might be expected under such circumstances. And all they worked as soon as possible. They had begun to break before the toys and other presents were distributed. So, for the first time in many years, the reindeer trotted into Laughing Valley on their return in bright, with the brilliant sun peeping over to prove they were far behind their accustomed hours. Having put the deer in the stable, the little folk began to wonder how they might rescue their master. They realized they must discover what happened to him and where he was. Whisk the fairy transported himself to the bower of the fairy queen, which was located deep in the heart of the forest of Burzee. And once there, it did not take long to find out about the naughty Damons and how they had kidnapped the good Santa Claus to prevent him making children happy. The fairy queen also promised her assistance, and fortified by powerful support, Whisk flew back to where Nutter and Peter and Kilter awaited him, and the 4 counseled together and laid plans to rescue their master from his enemies. Let's see. Is the audio still breaking up? Oh, we might. It's okay. I can hear it. Beat eyes, welcome, welcome. Janet, I'm glad to see you guys. It looks like my internet is just being terrible. Let's see. Default. There's not much I can do about it. I think I'm the only one. Let's see. I think I will try again another day. Sorry, this is kind of. Anyway, Merry Christmas to you all. I'm gonna quit. Give it a quit. That's not right.